Are you thinking of moving to Hampton Roads, Virginia? Well, in this video, I'm going to teach you everything you need to know about buying a home here in Hampton Roads. Stick around till the end because I'm going to tell you some things you definitely shouldn't do when trying to buy your new home. We're going to get after it right now. If this is your first time on the channel and you want to know everything there is about living in Hampton Roads, Virginia, then subscribe below and tap the bell for notifications so you can be the first to learn about the current market in Hampton Roads. I get calls and texts every single day from people just like you looking to make their move to Hampton Roads. Whether you're looking to move in 9 days or 90 days, all my contact info is below. Give me a call, shoot me a text, send me an email, or schedule a Zoom call. I'm happy to help you make that smooth move to Hampton Roads.
All right, so every time I sit down with a new buyer, I like to go over briefly kind of a bird's eye view of the buyer process. You're looking at my buyer's guide, which you can get for free. Just comment below buyer's guide and I can send you over a free copy of it. There's a ton of information here. It's over 20 pages, just filled with information about buying a home here in Hampton Roads, Virginia. I just want to touch on a couple of points in here in this video, kind of the main points. So this is kind of a step-by-step process of the home buying process. Got to get your finances in order. You got to talk to a lender. If you don't have a lender that you're working with, or if you do, really, I've got some that I can recommend. I recommend talking to at least 2 or 3 of them. Get the best rate. Get one that you work well with, because you will be working very close hand in hand with your lender throughout the entire process. Obviously, you need to find a real estate agent, but since you're watching this video, I think you already found one. You'll have to get a ton of documentation, things like your W-2s, proof of employment, things like that, depending on, obviously, if you're a W-2 employee. If you're military, you'll need a copy of your LES, your bank statements, things like that to prove to the lender that you, one, are employed, what your debt to income ratio is, so they will pull your credit score also, so that they can determine exactly what rate you'll get. So once you talk to your lender, you'll get a pre-approval letter for whatever amount you're approved for. My recommendation is don't get wide-eyed at that, because it may be higher than what you were expecting. What I would say to do is do a budget and figure out exactly what you're comfortable spending each month. You don't want to be house broke. So get that number, and then we can work backwards to a price range for you, so that once you buy the house, you'll be comfortable, be able to pay all the utilities, all the maintenance, and still enjoy life even with your new house. Of course, depending on what loan you have, whether it be FHA, conventional, investor loan, or VA, will determine the amount of down payment that you're required to have, whether that be 0 or up to 20%. Also, you need to prepare for additional costs. Some of those costs include an earnest money deposit. That is kind of your skin in the game, if you will. Once you get under contract with a house, you will pay your earnest money deposit, or EMD as we call it, to a third party. They'll hold that EMD until closing. If we go all the way to closing, then that earnest money will get applied to either your closing costs or the purchase price. If you back out, or if you release due to a contingency, you will get that earnest money back. However, if you breach the contract in any way, you will lose that. You will lose the earnest money. Another upfront cost is the home inspection. Typically, that runs from anywhere between $400 and $600-ish paid at the time of inspection. It all depends on square footage of the house, age of the house, whether or not it has a crawl space, if you get any extra inspections like a sewer scope or a pool inspection or something like that. Another upfront cost could be an upfront cost, could be a closing cost, rolled into closing cost, your appraisal. An appraisal is required if you're getting if you're financing. The difference between an appraisal and a home inspection: an appraisal is determining the value of the house, and the appraiser is really only going to look at safety, structure, and security. It's not going to be as in-depth of an inspection. They're going to compare it with recently sold homes in the area, typically, ideally, I should say, within 3 to 6 months of now, to determine the price. A home inspection is going to go much deeper. They're going to get in the attic. They're going to get in the crawl space if there is one. They're going to look at the electrical, the plumbing. They're going to look at everything. They test ceiling fans and windows. They'll look at everything. They'll give you an itemized list of everything that they found, every discrepancy that they found in the home. And then you and I will discuss that and determine whether we want to ask the seller for some of those repairs at their cost, or whether you're good to go and you don't need any repairs, or anywhere in between. Another cost, upfront cost, could be a survey. A survey is optional. Sometimes the seller may already have a survey. Since COVID, they went up quite a bit recently. Recently, I talked to the title company that I primarily work with, and they said that the surveys were starting at $695. But if that's something that you want, we can definitely get that ordered. If you decide not to, you can always get that ordered at any time after the purchase. Another cost could be a re-inspection. If we did the home inspection and they found something, say, that's structurally wrong with the house, and we negotiated with the sellers to make those repairs, we didn't feel comfortable determining whether or not those repairs were done in a workmanlike manner, so we bring the home inspector back. That can run anywhere from $200 to $400, depending on the scope of the inspection and exactly what they're looking at. And then, of course, there's closing costs, different fees and costs, such as taxes, prepayment of taxes, prepayment of home insurance. If you're VA and you're not VA, if you're using a VA loan, if you're active duty, or if you are a veteran but don't have a VA rating, you will pay the VA funding fee. That's all wrapped into your closing costs. Typically, I tell people to estimate somewhere around 3 to 3.5% of the purchase price. Now, those can be negotiated into the contract for the seller to pay some or all of those. However, with it being a seller's market currently, it can, in a multiple offer situation, that's going to hurt the bottom line of the seller. So your offer will not be as appealing to a seller as somebody who's not asking for closing cost assistance. Just some of the negotiation tactics, and it's obviously it is a situation dependent decision, and we will talk about that when the time comes. Something to keep in mind though. So the next step after figuring out finances is the actual home search. That's kind of one of the fun parts. You got to get yourself a wants and needs list. Needs are things that you obviously can't do without, whatever that may be, whether that's 4 bedrooms or 2.5 bathrooms or a garage, whatever the case may be. We'll go down those, list them all, get you set up on a search in the MLS, so that as soon as a property that meets the criteria that you need, it will send it over to you. And if you like what you see, we can go take a closer look at it. I always recommend taking a look at the neighborhood before deciding on a house, not only during the day, but also at night, not only during the week, but also on the weekend. A lot of things in a home you can change. You can change the kitchen. You can change the bathroom. You can't change where it's located. Something to keep in mind. After all that, once we find the home that you like, I will take a look at comparable properties similar to what an appraiser does. We'll figure out a good offer price as well as terms, because an offer is not just the price. Despite what some people think, there are terms. Some sellers want to close quicker. Some want to stay in the home a little bit longer. It's all All of it is situation dependent. And using me, you've got a realtor that reaches out to the listing agent and finds out exactly what the seller's looking for so that we can write the most appealing offer to the seller that makes sense for you. Once we get the offer accepted, then you will make your earnest money deposit. We'll get the inspections scheduled, the home inspection, the termite and moisture inspection, and any other inspections that you may want. If there's a septic tank, a septic inspection, a well water inspection if it's on a well. After the inspections, after we together go through the home inspection report and determine that we are going to continue moving forward, one, and if there's any deal breakers, if we can negotiate with the seller to have this seller pay for the repairs that may be deal breakers. Once we're good to go and we're going to move forward on that, then we will ask the lender to order the appraisal. Once that happens, then you will be looking for homeowners insurance, which I have a great recommendation for homeowners insurance if you need one. And also during that time, you're going to be probably asked by the lender for more documentation just to get your loan approved. You will be within 5 to 7 days of getting under contract. You will be officially applying for that loan immediately upon contract acceptance. I will send it over to the lender so that they can lock in your rate, but then you'll have to actually apply for the mortgage. While all of that's going on, the title company will be researching the title to make sure that it is a marketable title, that the seller actually owns it, and that they can actually sell it to you. Obviously, that's important, and that there's no liens on it. And if you so choose, title will also order the survey for the property at that time. So once all of that is done, then within usually about 24 to 48 hours of closing, we will go do the final walkthrough. At the final walkthrough, we will be determining that, one, the property is in the same condition as it was when we did the home inspection, that there's no damage or anything that was negotiated to convey with the home is not there, or there's things that are not supposed to be there that are there. We check all those things. Any repairs that we negotiated to have the seller take care of, that those are done in a proper workmanlike manner. This would be the time that we would do the re-inspect if we needed to. And then once we're done with the final walkthrough, then we would go to closing, sign your paperwork, and I will hand you the keys and it will be yours. So I'm just going to let you take a quick look at this buyer's guide. Like I said before, it's more than 20 pages of all sorts of good information, talking about how to search for a house, how to effectively go to showings, what happens once we're under contract. A lot of the stuff that we talked about, it goes into more detail, talks about homeowners insurance, and there's checklists in here that help you along the way. And now, like I promised, some things that you definitely don't want to do between the time you decide to look for a house and closing time, because it can change these things can change your ability to be approved for your loan, and or at a minimum the rate that you've the rate that you've been quoted by your lender. So what are those things, you might ask? Don't quit your job. Don't get any hard credit pulls. Don't buy a car. Don't buy any other real estate. Don't co-sign for anybody for a loan. Don't apply for any credit. Don't charge any additional debt. Don't use your credit cards. Don't make any big purchases. And don't start any other home improvements. If you already own a home and you're going to buy another home, don't start any home improvements that aren't a condition of the loan.
If you're curious about living in Hampton Roads, Virginia, or are already planning a move here, or you're already a local here thinking about moving across town, my contact information is below. And don't forget to hit that subscribe button for more insights on Hampton Roads, Virginia living. I'll be covering all the cities, so stay tuned for the next one. Who knows? The next city we explore might just be your future home. And remember, whether you're moving in 9 days or 90 days, feel free to give me a call, shoot me a text, send me an email, or schedule a Zoom call. And until next time, talk to you soon.